3D printing. If you've heard of the technology, it was probably from someone touting its revolutionary potential. The technology to build 3D objects layer by layer, limited only by your imagination, is said to be a game changer. 3D printers can build everything from Christmas ornaments to replacement body parts. The more ambitious proponents predict future devices which can replace an industrial part on demand and even build a house in 24 hours. NASA is even looking at using 3D printing in space to help reduce launch costs. But while 3D printing is already being used by artists, engineers, and other specialists, is it ready for the average consumer? MakerBot CEO Bre Pettis thinks it is. Pettis and his company recently launched their Replicator 2, a new desktop 3D printer with a price tag around $2,200 and new, easier-to-use software. Pettis hopes to turn more and more average computer users into makers. They even launched a storefront where customers can buy their own MakerBot or have something printed right before their eyes. But while the technology already has a huge following, will it be useful enough to the average consumer to start popping up on everyday desktop? Critics say no. For one thing, users have to be skilled in computer-aided drafting and design in order to make their own products. Users can also join online communities like MakerBot's Thingiverse to access ready-to-print designs. But many objects tagged as useful in the Thingiverse aren't much more impressive than high school crafting projects, like soap dishes, ashtrays, and replacement toothpicks for your Swiss Army knife. And when Pettis got the chance to tout his MakerBot on the Colbert Report last June, he set the bar pretty low.
Having a MakerBot means you can make almost anything from like a bathtub plug to a birthday present. Say you need new shower curtain rings, you can just print out new shower curtain rings.
But a writer for Wired says the promise of 3D printing isn't about what's already been done, it's about the future. Much as the first generation of software entrepreneurs were kids like the young Bill Gates, who grew up with the first machines and intuitively grasped their potential, so the next generation of 3D printing innovators may be children. Wired calls this MakerBot's Macintosh moment, as Apple's Macintosh was to home computing, so the Replicator 2 will be to home 3D printing. But a writer for Slate isn't buying it, illustrating his misgivings by telling what happened when he asked Pettis for the most useful item in the MakerBot store. He pointed to a red and black plastic watch that looked like something I might really have coveted in 4th grade. So the timing mechanism, I began, that's the one component we put in there, he explained brightly. Everything else is 3D printed. In other words, MakerBot's new Replicator 2 assembled the whole watch from scratch, except for the part that makes it a watch. The Slate writer goes on to say it's not that 3D printing isn't amazing, it's just not ready for prime time right now. That's a sentiment echoed by an editor for Develop 3D magazine. Don't get me wrong, I love the idea of 3D printing getting into the hands of more people, but at the moment I'm a bit down on the whole thing, and I'd like to see a little more realism and fewer flights of fancy. For Newsy, I'm Logan Tittle. Multiple sources, the real story.